Good morning, YouTubers. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood today, and I'm out here having a little fun with my 32 Studebaker Rockney. And what I'm doing today is resetting the toe in on the front axle. I was talking to Don yesterday. He's a guy that's got an awful lot of interesting cars, and I'll be showing you videos of him. In fact, he's the guy that's looking for the inside window panes for the 35 Dodge Coupe. But that's beside the point. But we were talking about how we used to do a lot of front end alignment ourselves because we couldn't get anybody to do it, or because we were at the racetrack and we knocked something out, and you can't haul your race car off to a front end shop every time it gets knocked out of line, because that's what racing's all about. They get beat up pretty good there. But this car has had a tendency to try to, it's not really that it's got a lot of play in the steering. It's just, look, I noticed that I'm constantly correcting it. Now, I did a homemade measurement, and I say homemade because it's just me and a tape measure out here. And it looks like that this wheel is towed out. And by out, I mean, let me say that right. I want to make sure I get my terms right. I might have that backwards. I might have to measure that again just to make sure. It's hard to get a good measurement too, going over and across those springs and those gas lines and everything to get from one side to another. So maybe I should do that. I'm going to reconnect my measurement. But what I've done here is I've loosened this nut, and this nut connects this bar, which connects the two axle sides together, which controls the toe in. So the further this back side comes out, the further this front side comes in. So if I wanted to move the toe in, I would turn this axle. And when you turn this axle, it turns both sides because it's threaded, so that that thing there can be turned. I used to do this on the old Chrysler a lot. I wound up lining up the front of it after I put disc brakes on it. I'm going to take another measurement. Then I'm going to jack it up, and then I'm going to turn that. I'm going to keep up with how much I turned it so I can turn it back if I need to later. Yeah, I'm going to take another measurement as best as I can. This would be something that would be nice if I had somebody to help me with. I don't, but I can wing it. Sometimes I can wing it and get away with it. I guess I can show you the way I'm getting this measurement is I'm sticking this tape measure through. It should have come over the top of the back of that spring there. Let's put that through there. Like this. And then I'm coming, this is the center level of tread on this tire. So I'm coming to the inside of that right there. I'm taking this little piece of wood here, I'm sticking it up here to hold that. So this is my other set of hands right here that I have holding that for me. So we'll go around to the other side, take a measurement. So we're going back to the center of the tire here. So here's the center line, so I want to measure to this point. So I'm going to bring this over here. And according to this, that right there is literally, well, this is actually 60 and 7/8. Now on the front it's 60 1/4. So that tells me that the front is towed in further than the back. 60 and 7/8. Okay, let's Let's go to the front of that same place. So, over here I'll go by the same spot, only I'm coming up a little higher on the car because I'm making up for the car. First measure was a little low, looking for a little high. That's very close, but not exactly. So, this one is $60.5. Could that be right? This is 60.5. And I thought that other was 60 and 7/8. So that means this side is in by almost a ½ inch, which is a lot. So I'm going to turn it so that the front end goes out a little. I may give that one complete turn of that piece there. I'll probably double check these measurements again. According to that, that's just a 1/16 of an inch or so past 60.5 right there. I wonder if I should try to get a lower on the tire measurement. Well, that does make that more if I go lower. That makes it 60 3/4, whereas over there it was only off by, no, that makes it 61. Let me get the right mark here. 60. So this front could come in. Or not. See, this is the part where I have trouble with my brain. Let's call that 60 3/4 and go back and do the other side again. I'm going to turn you off because this is puzzling on my brain, and I know I'm saying all the wrong things. That's normal for me. So maybe you can imagine what it's like to try to do something like that when you're kind of dyslexic or whatever you call it. My brain ain't never worked completely right. In fact, George sent me a letter the other day, and I couldn't read it. It's just like so long. And I wrote back and apologized. I said, I've never been able to read a paragraph longer than about 3 sentences. They loved me in school. Anyway, what I came down to now is, according to my specs, this is towed in 1/8 of an inch in on the front. Before it was towed, see, this is where I start trying to figure out my numbers. It was towed out on the front by about a ½ inch. So we're going to take it for a ride. I'll go get my license and make sure the dogs are in the house. And we'll take her down the road and see what we think. I didn't hammer down the lock nuts on this front axle setup. Mike made this front end setup, by the way, and I think he really did a good job. Of course, I think Mike did a good job with everything he did. He's my hero, even if he is passed away now. I almost feel like I need to write about Mike and make him more famous. So let me go make sure the dogs are in. I'll get my wallet and go take a ride. Nice guy stopped, offered to help. I like meeting nice people. Part of what makes this fun. So I put it right back where I had it the first time I changed it. You know, when we left the house. I think I might have liked that better than anything.